Hello and welcome to this week of GearReport, episode 186 for the 2nd of November, 2023. And this is the first show after Halloween. It's the closest show to Halloween. And maybe that explains why tonight's show appears to be cursed. We had a brand that I thought was going to come on and talk with us tonight, and they had some scheduling issues and said, "Oh, we're not going to make it." And then right before the show, I got a note from TJ that said he's having some issues like a broken webcam and he's not going to make it. So you get me for what may be the shortest cursed episode of This Week at Gear Report ever. Hopefully it's the only cursed episode we have. So if you're out there in the comments, please let us know, say hello, because I could use the company, right? So let's dive into our agenda. Well, let's just burn our way through this. Welcome. It's This Week at Gear Report. And we always start by talking about recent reviews. So we got a couple to talk about. We will start with this one. It was a guest post from an author who has requested anonymity, or at least said, you don't have to put my name on it. So anyhow, we have an article about timepieces in hunting watches. So Timekeepers of the Wild, it's called. And you can read through here about some of the history of using timepieces while hunting, some of the new things you can get on watches. And honestly, there's some really neat things available now, whether you're hunting or just doing stuff outdoors with GPS navigation aid stuff. Atmospheric sensors can be pretty useful. Water resistance is definitely worthwhile. A lot of different things, especially you get into some of the smartwatches. They log so many different things and give you lots of different feedback, even keeping up with like health stats, that kind of thing. So definitely if hunting watch or outdoor watch you think might be in your future, then have a gander at that article. I'm going to drop the link right here. That'll be in the comments of this discussion if you'd like to check that out. We've got another one here. I read the article, so I know the proper pronunciation, but I find it entertaining to call this company Leopold, right? Okay. Actually, Trey goes out of his way in here somewhere to call out the proper pronunciation, which is more like you'd spell it Loopold, loophole. Like if you say it that way, that's the way they want you to say it. But the Mark III HD 8 to 24 by 50 rifle scope, and he gives it 4 out of 5 gears. That's pretty good. So if we remember, we have the link to our gears ratings here. 4 stands out as a top option in the product class and price point. So relatively high praise for this optic that Trey runs on his PRS sniper competition rifle. He goes a step above what most people do at Gear Report and puts not just the main gears rating at the top, but then kind of sub ratings to help inform how he did things. And of course, he has a video in here that you can watch to learn more about it. He does the coolest thumbnails ever. Yeah, so I will drop this link in the comments as well, so you go check that out if you like. There it is, Loopold Mark III HD review. And man, he put a lot of stuff in here. Diagrams of the different, the reticle and how to read it. And reticles, I didn't know this when I started doing a little bit of rifle shooting, because I'd never done that before we got into doing hunting content, actually. And that's when I found out that reticles can be really complex, and you can compute a lot of things and solve a lot of kind of math problems using the different tick marks and different things, dots within most modern reticles. They tend to be pretty fancy in that regard. So let's see. we are on recent reviews. That's all we're going to talk about there for now. Reviews will be published soon. I am not sure. We don't have anything pending right now. I know TJ's got some things he's been working on. I've got some things I need to get out there. I know that some other folks are working on reviews. This guy isn't one of them, as far as I know. But welcome, Komar.
Hey.
Happy Thursday. Yeah, good to see you.
Happy Thursday.
Yeah, so we're going to shift gears. Since you're here, I was not going to talk about this, but we're going to talk about it now, if you don't mind. Where is it? Here it is. You know what's in the baggie here, right?
Oh, yes, 100%.
So I was texting with Chris today. Chris being the GearReport contributor who has he has the 3D printing stuff, and it's funny that his wife is one of the adults that helps with the scout unit that I work with, and we had the scout meeting last night. While the scouts are off doing stuff, the adults kind of sit in the corner and talk. It's our social time, and I said I said here's a USB drive with all the files. If you take this to Chris, that'd be awesome. So I said, yeah, I've been resisting getting a 3D printer because it's expense that I don't need to get into. But dude, you've seen the prices lately. It's like they're almost nothing for what you get.
Yes.
But the big deal is like I have too many things on my plate and I don't have time. And she said, my garage is full of 3D printers. My house is full of 3D printers. Just come and take one.
They multiply.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah. But I don't know what we're doing. Like Chris sent me a note today and said, basically, like, how do you want to shoot this? And meaning the videos, like what camera angles, where do we want to do them? What kind of time do I want him to just start printing stuff, or do I want to be there for all of it? And I was like, I don't know enough about any of this to figure out. Like, I need to have like the story for the video, right? Like I need to know what I'm doing with that ahead of time. Oh, look who's tardy and shows up right after we talk about his article.
Nice.
I got to work on how I welcome people to the program.
I just, my bad, man. I honestly lost track of time.
These things happen.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do though is when we get done with this discussion, which you're welcome to participate in, I'll bring it back up and let you talk about it because I just kind of went through and hit some of the high points. But we'll let you talk about the. I told everyone it has to be Leopold, right?
Yeah. I'm sure they've heard it all.
Yeah. So So we're talking about 3D printing of firearms and how to go about. I don't know if you saw this, Trey, but I've got baggies with parts in them. I'll just pull one of them out.
Nice.
And I've got the little receipt that says the Harlot, the Brawler, and the Long Shot. So I got 3 3D printed firearm kits, and L must mean this is the Long Shot. And you see we have a barrel and an Allen wrench and various little screws, a couple different types of springs. Like there's a bunch of neat little things in here. So the guy with the printers, Chris, he was sending me notes today saying, okay, how do we want to do this? And it's like, I don't know. So I was picking Komar's brain to say, all right, how should I go about this?
Is this for a particular like model or?
Well, it's for 3 different models. And the 3 models are the Harlot, the Brawler, and the Long Shot. Okay. And I'll bring those.
So the Long Shot is probably the longer barrel or the longest of the 3?
By the longest barrel, you mean 2 inches as opposed to 1 inch or 1.5 inches, then yes. Yes, that is the long barrel. It's got
Nice.
both inches.
Well, dude, you say that, but I am measuring a full 3 inches on that barrel.
Oh, is it? All right.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Amen.
So,
Every inch counts.
Lord, I know it.
So this is what we're talking about are the 3 different options here for the firearms. I'm guessing this is the brawler that has like the brass knuckle type look built into it. Yeah, there we go. 22 long rifle brawler. And then the long shot looks like it's a tip up barrel.
Yeah.
A tiny little grip.
Yeah, I've got a buddy who brass knuckles are his thing. And so the brawler is specifically why I ordered that pack is because I knew that this dude would love that, and I actually it is my intent to take the model for that metal section there that is the brass knuckles and actually beefing that up a little bit.
So
what happens.
So I know that there is plenty of information. I have somewhere up here, I have a USB stick that came with this kit that I suspect has some kind of FAQ DIY type information on it to help me figure out how to do this. But there it is.
I have it. I've not actually opened it up yet.
Yeah.
But
so I copied it. I copied everything off of this onto another drive and sent that to Chris. But I haven't actually looked at what the files were. I was just like, oh, I got to remember to copy this before I go to the scout meeting. Because that's, I figure that's a good use of a scout meeting is, conversing about 3D printed guns on the side.
I mean, what else are you going to do for about it, really?
Yeah. I mean, it's a solid point there. So let's see if I can get some of these closed. Here we go. The brawler. Oh, it does have a quick start guide. Awesome. Sweet. Look at that.
Sweet.
Yeah, Defense Distributed is like on top of this, making sure it's all right and everything. So that's what an Ender looks like, probably. The 3D print. Oh, it talks about all sorts of stuff. Materials. See, that's what I wanted to look at real quick was the materials that they suggest to use. Because before I even get over there, like I need to be sure we have the right kind of filament, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think it's going to tell me? What's it going to say I should use?
So I've been doing everything in PLA Plus. Is what I've been doing. However, I am not a gun printer, right? That's not. I've not done a ton of it. But PLA Plus is kind of my go-to. My understanding is back in the day there was PLA, ABS, and PETG, which is kind of the 3 that were the go-tos, right? Those were the options. And PLA was awesome for most things, but the PETG had more strength, and so that's kind of what you did. And then for whatever happened, I don't know. PLA Plus came out, and allegedly, what I'm hearing is PLA Plus is the best of both worlds. It has substantially more strength than PLA, but is easier to print than PETG.
So what do you know about what's the other type, the resin printing? Like as it relates to this, are there any things that, because Chris has got he's got a couple resin printers as well. So are there things that we should consider doing in resin or just do everything in PLA Plus?
I've never printed anything with resin. My understanding with the resin is that it gives you high resolution. So for folks that are doing things like miniature models, like Dungeons and Dragons folks, tiny little intricate things, that resin is where it's at. Um, my understanding, I know that how I think it's FDM, it's FDM and resin. I think that's the terminology. How these printers work. It moves an extruder around on a plate. It squirts out its, just like an inkjet printer, except it squirts out plastic. Cool. And it goes on, and then it comes up off the bed and drops material from the next layer. With the resin, there is an LCD display of some kind that essentially drops down into the resin and then emits light in the shape of that layer, and then the whole
Oh.
layer cures essentially at once, and then it raises up a little bit.
I wondered how that worked.
Yeah. So you have the build surface here. The build surface touches the light, right? And so then that little bit of light cures it, and then it raises up
Neat.
and cures the next layer and raises up. So in the end, your bed that moved up has the bottom of your fixture or whatever it is that you're printing, and then it hangs down. And then the top of it was the last thing. Then it comes up out of the resin, and there you go.
Cool. So. Yeah. Like I said, I'm trying real hard not to purchase, because when I had looked into 3D printing a few years ago, it was going to be over $1,000 to get started with anything that was worth a damn. And now this is
it's counterintuitive. Where typically you get into a hobby, you buy the cheaper thing, right? The beginner stuff, and then you buy more expensive stuff later on. Well, with 3D printing, it's the opposite. The more expensive it is, the easier it is to work with. I started with a printer from Monoprice, and it was $130, $160, and I had a terrible experience. I eventually just gave up and gave it away to someone who actually knew what they were doing and has had great luck with it and good experience with it. But I gave up, and I don't want 3D printing to be my hobby. I want to use my 3D printer to enhance my other hobbies.
That's kind of where I am. Yeah.
I want to CAD something up. I want to print it, and then I want to be able to use my my prototype, right? Cool. That's what I want to do. So what I wound up doing is dropping, I think it was like $1,400 and got a Prusa. And I got it unassembled. I made my kid build it for me. Cool. I did that. He built it, and it's been running great. And it out of the box, auto levels, does everything for me. And it's that's it. The i3 MK3S Plus. That's the exact one that I got.
Wow.
So, they now have the 4, I think. I think they've dropped a little bit, but the 4 is out now. And I imagine the 4, I don't know if there's going to be on Amazon, but maybe. I think all you're going to find here is parts for it.
Well, we shall see. I figure maybe it'll show us some other options as well. Okay, so they have the one you have.
Yeah. Search for the MK4. See if throw MK4 on the top there. See what it may not have been released. I'm gonna look as well.
Yeah, and Chris had he got this K1. This is the K1 Max. He had just the K1 and had such huge problems with it that he pretty quickly said, you know what? It's melding parts, like melding functional pieces of the printer, not just the filament. And they didn't have replacement parts, so it went back, and he got a bamboo. And apparently loves it.
Looks like the MK4. Looks like the MK4. Okay, you can buy a kit for the MK4 that you build, and that's $800. This is straight from Prusa Research. And if you buy it assembled, it looks like it's $1,100. And then if you add a let's see, if you add the enclosure for it, then you add $300 to it. If I had it to do over again, I potentially would do it with the enclosure. One issue that I've had from time to time, not so much anymore, but in the winter, in the colder months, My office has a door on it, and then outside my office room is the open basement, and then a big sliding glass door. If I had my office door open and the kids left the back door open and it was real cold out, that sudden temperature change would wreck my prints.
Wow.
Whereas if I had an enclosure, that wouldn't happen.
Huh. Yeah. Yeah. So I know Chris has got most of his printers in his garage, and he was installing heating and air in the garage today, I think, in anticipation of
Yep.
working on this project.
Yep.
But he has an Ender 3 V2 or something in his office, and he built an enclosure around it with a HEPA filter on the vent for the enclosure. So he's venting it into the room, but it's going through a filter.
Got it.
Pretty sure, unless he's venting it outside. He may actually, it may be by a window and he's venting it outside. I don't remember, but
Cool.
But I know if I were to do it, where I would want to put it is actually where I have my laser engraver. So that would potentially, maybe I could slide it to one side. I don't think I have enough room. Anyhow, my goal is exactly like yours, to not dive into this to the point that it becomes a hobby. Defense Dad says he sees gun people. Well, you see 3D printing gun people at the moment. At least that's what we're discussing. So, yeah, I very much want to be functional. And that's how I use the laser engraver. It's very functional. It'll sit there for a month and a half, 2 months. And then when I need to do something, I'll try to batch a couple things. Like if I'm going to fire it up and, I don't have much to do to run it. I open a window, put a fan in the window, sucking out, and, it's ready to go. If I want to do a cup or a mug or something, I have to plug the rotator in, but, otherwise, I just figure out which bed I need to use, how high it needs to be, and align and go. All right. Well, that sounds pretty straightforward. And looking at that quick start guide makes me feel a little bit better. I don't think Chris got the X1.
You'll be fine.
He got something else. Yeah. I figure he's been printing a lot. It wouldn't surprise me if he's already printed every one of these by now. If he doesn't have like his fleet of printers churning out parts, so that by the time I get there, he'll be, I ran a test print on everything twice, because that's kind of how he does things. Like he takes pride in the percentage of time each day that the printers are running.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've got a friend like that. He printed a bunch of a specific object, and was talking to the guys behind that object at one point, and was like, "Yeah, I got this thing set up, 6 weeks ago, and I've printed X number of them." And the guys were like, "Oh, that's a lot." And then one of the guys was like, "Hold on. Do you actually mean that number of them?" And he was like, "Yeah, I got them right here." And like showed them on the camera. It was on a Zoom meeting. I was on there, and they were like, "Dude, do you realize it's X number of hours? You said you installed this 6 weeks ago. That's 4.5 weeks of straight printing." And he's like, "Oh yeah. I set an alarm clock."
Oh my goodness!
Done. I kicked that bad boy. He opened up a nozzle. There was a nozzle that got worn. The bore opened up a little bit. They wear.
Huh. That's crazy. Well, I knew Chris was serious about printing when he got the machine that had the conveyor belt on it. So he could either do really long things that were bigger than the bed as a continuous print, or he could do lots of little
drop things off,
and they just fall off when they're done. Put a bin under the conveyor belt.
So 3D printers, much like CNC, well, it is a CNC machine, right? It's a computer, numerically controlled, right? Cool.
Yeah.
There actually are some that use they're called bed slingers, where it moves the bed forward and backward. is one of the axes rather than a belt. And there are some where it'll have the code where it'll come down on the nozzle will come down on the bed, do the whole print, come all up. When it's done, it will move the bed forward, drop the nozzle down, pull the bed back to push it off to clear the bed to then start over again. And people run this stuff. You've got to have a whole lot of faith in your bed adhesion, right? It needs to be, you have to have enough adhesion that it prints well, but it needs to have not so much that, that becomes a problem.
Sure.
Anyhow.
Dude, look at this. This is cool. This is just the simple Harlot, and you have options on how you can build it. I had no idea. Like, I had not looked this closely to figure that out yet. See. And then, so I got this going on.
The Brawler's where it's at.
Well, yeah. All right. Harlot has a 1.5.
I like that Picatinny though. I like that little Picatinny rail on that thing, so you can put
That's
like
what
a
I was
big
just looking at.
optic.
So I guess you have to get a longer barrel for that, because the kit came with the 1.5 inch.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it'd have to be that little one.
Well, the kit that you got comes with 3 barrels.
Well, yeah.
So there's perhaps another one.
That is a true statement. And let's see this other one.
And I have seen how they make the barrels. I have seen with my own eyeballs how they make the barrels out at the DD headquarters. And it is definitely reproducible at home.
Yeah. It doesn't look incredibly complex. But that's neat. I was not expecting this. I just was going through that directory and thought, you know what? Let me see what this is. It said options. Oh, wow. That is neat. Cross-section drawings. Oh, see, and they'd printed different things in different colors. We're going to have to do that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like that's one of the cooler things about the 3D printing is when you're joining different parts is always do it different colors.
Yeah. Cool. Default parts, tools. Oh, I don't know what. Oh, that's the STL file. I can't open that. What am I doing? All right. Well, neat stuff. Oh, a curved trigger. Oh, gee. I wonder if that's
I muted myself. What operating system are you running? Because that looks like you don't have it. I think Paint 3D will actually open STLs.
Ah, yeah.
But I think that might be a Windows 11 thing.
This Windows 11, it's a new computer, and I don't have much set up on it yet. I just have the minimum stuff I needed. But the Extendo barrel, it says. So, yeah, there is more in here than I was expecting. All right. Do we lose Trey's still with us, right? He comes in and then we start talking about other stuff.
Yeah, I took a little nap. I'm good. Just wake me up when you're done.
When are you getting in the 3D printing game?
I have zero desire or ambition.
Really?
Do it.
It interests me in 0%.
Wow.
I don't have time for another hobby. If I was going to,
that's exactly where I am.
If I was going to start another hobby, it would be reloading, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. So speaking of other hobbies and that we don't have time for, if I point right over here, I'm pointing at my reloading presses that are also in the office and have not been used in quite some time. Because who has time for that? Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, but you see those 2 pieces down in the bottom left there. Yeah, that's what I wanted to modify and make a little beefier, a little bulkier.
A laser cut brass plate.
Over here, that's covered up by the reviews will be published soon. But yeah, I do see
Oh,
that now.
yeah, let
Um,
me get rid of that. Banners. There we go. And, yeah, right
you
there.
know,
Laser cut.
that
See,
would be
you have a
hella
laser
cool.
that would do that, right? I don't have a laser that will do that, I don't think.
Actually, I do. That didn't even strike me, but I actually do. It will. It'll cut through steel, so I assume it'll cut through brass.
But I would think, yeah,
Yeah.
that could be
So
fun.
what's interesting there also is that can be done on the Ghost Gunner.
Wow. If only you knew someone who could program the Ghost Gunner.
Yeah, yeah, that would be a convenient skill to have.
Yeah,
I should
it
ask around.
would. Man. Yeah, see, this gets more interesting the deeper we get into it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's bad. It reminds me of when I started skydiving a very long time ago, and I was like, "Hey man, how much does all this cost?" And they're like, "Well, you need to be prepared to drop around $3,000 for training, the other $3,000 for the equipment, and then probably 30% of your income for the rest of your life." I'm
Yeah.
like, "Wait, what?" And they're like, "Yeah, pretty much all your disposable income will go to this." I know of a dude that cheated on taxes in order to afford jump tickets.
Wow.
So yeah, it's
Well, in fairness, I would never do
it's less
that.
expensive than meth,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's
I would
equally
never
addictive.
cheat on taxes. And I have an accountant that would, like lose his accounting license or something
Yeah,
if I were to cheat on taxes. So, I wouldn't do that. But I
but
do happen to believe that taxation is theft. And I do kind of applaud people who try to stop theft.
yeah,
Generally
yeah,
speaking, I'm anti-theft.
yeah.
So,
As am I. As am I.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's without calling any specific agencies into the discussion,
Like
generally
the ATF.
speaking, I don't respect thieves. So, yeah. All right. Well, this has been enlightening. Man, I'm glad that I looked in here to see what all's here because
Absolutely.
I think Chris and I are gonna have to sit down at the computer with the monitors and, like, go through and pick, "Okay, here's the list of files we need to mix and match the different options together." Because I didn't even know that these options were a thing, you know?
Mhm.
I hadn't looked that closely. It's just we were on that, discussion, um with Defense Distributed, and you said, "Well, I just bought it. You need to buy it." I was like, "Yeah." Twisted my arm.
Do it.
Yep.
Do
So I
it.
did, and I hadn't even looked at it any closer. I was just like, "Well, I know it's gonna be cool." I didn't know it was gonna be this cool with all these
So, yeah.
options.
Yep. Yep.
That's really neat. It even has, like, little holes for light tubes on the rear sight. Like, you can put little bits of fiber optic in there.
Absolutely.
Or optic fiber, whatever, on the front and the back. Oh my goodness. Yes. I didn't need to look at
It is awesome.
I didn't need to get into this, but I'm gonna
Hmm.
make the most of it.
Do it.
All right. Let's see. I need to come back to here and we can wake Ghost up and let him talk about the fancy scope that's on his long range competition rifle.
Yeah, really excited to work with Loopold. I think I gave it a 4 gear rating,
I think you did, yes.
and yeah, I mean, it's a Loopold. I mean, it's I don't even. There's really the only thing that I found that I wish would be better was that it doesn't come with an illuminated reticle.
Hmm.
And that may not matter to a lot of people, and it may not matter to me when it's all said and done. But when you're talking about a low light shooting, sometimes that illuminated reticle does come in handy. But I mean, everything else about it is pretty phenomenal. The glass is obviously fantastic. I love the throw lever that it comes with. It's parallax is very easy. Elevation's great. Windage knob's great. I mean, everything about it is phenomenal. Like I said, if I had to nitpick and say find something wrong with it, illuminated reticle probably,
Yeah.
And I mean, let's be honest. I mean, and I don't say it's a bad thing because there's scopes out there for everyone at every price range, but loophole is typically like on the upper part of the price range. So for those that aren't willing to spend, minimum $800, $700 up to $2,500. Well, I mean, here's the thing: loophole it may not be for you, but if you're willing to jump into that little higher price range of an optic, is it a Night Force? This one, no, this one is not. This is one of their lower end scopes, but it is better than most out there. Um, it doesn't have the features and the gadgets of some of the Night Force or even like that. But I mean, loophole is loophole. They've been around for for 100 years, so they're doing something right.
Right. So did you pick the mill dot reticle
I
or
did, yes,
okay.
yeah. He gave me the option of MOA or mill, and I'm a mill shooter. It's just easier for me to be able to do math and adjusting on a lot quicker scale. Maybe because I learned on mill, a long, long time ago. Had I learned on MOA, it might have been a different story, but I learned on mill, so it's kind of my brain is almost trained in mill. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's easier for me to do calculations and different adjustments on a quicker movement than MOA.
Nice. A little bit of trivia here, by the way. Um, I see a suggestion that skydiving may be more expensive than meth, but I'm kind of reading this as it's probably safer than meth. So
That's what
Yeah.
it says.
yeah, I am not a fact checker. I did not stay at a Holiday Inn anytime recently or Holiday Inn Express. So
And I
I
will tell you, as a guy who has jumped out of planes before, and is generally scared of heights, there are very few things that are going to be more energetic and give you a much more of a natural high. The high, I have never done meth, but I assuming that the high of jumping out of a plane is probably better than the high on meth.
Mhm.
It's pretty amazing.
Well, I'm gonna trust you. I've jumped out of lots of planes. I mean, lots of planes. Never even crossed my mind to do it when the plane wasn't on the ground.
No, I understand. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
maybe at some point. Probably
You
not.
have probably 10 times over jumped out of more planes than I have.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know a lot of pilots that are also that also skydive. There's just like a philosophical difference in the way you approach the aircraft, I guess. So
I remember the first time I jumped, and it was a static line out of a helicopter, obviously,
mm,
'cause they don't
wow.
start, yeah. And once again, I'm not necessarily scared of heights. I'm scared of falling and dying, right?
Sure.
So I'm more scared of that impact than I am of being up high. I can be up high if I feel stable and feel secure. I'm okay. It's when you don't. But I remember I was at the door and I'm looking. I'm like, nope, nope, you know. And I had a sergeant look at me. And he goes, "You don't want to go, do you?" No, I
No,
do not.
no, I don't.
No, I really don't. He goes, "All right, I'll give you a choice." I'm like, "All right." He's going to be kind of cool about this. He said,
No.
"You can either jump out or I will throw you out." And I said,
That was nice of you.
I'll see you on the ground, Sergeant." And
The
off
illusion
I
of
went.
choice.
Yes.
The illusion of choice.
But I'm not going to lie to you. It gets kind of addicting.
Uh,
It does get kind of addicting. if you like adrenaline rushes, you know.
So, if I ever do it, I
Mhm.
will likely go out to, I think he's in Utah. Mike Seminoff does a lot marketing work for a lot of different brands,
Okay,
and he is a professional skydiver. That,
nice.
like, if you see the people doing the precision formations
Hmm.
into football games and stuff,
Oh,
he
that's
he
pretty cool
runs that
stuff.
kind
Yeah,
of thing.
I think you should. I think everybody should once. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
but
as being dead serious, I think everyone should
yeah,
once. Now, I tell you what you could do, Jeffrey, if you know want to. And I don't know. I'm sure most cities, big cities, have one of these, but they're like the parachuting in a tube type thing,
yeah.
where you can
I
at least
think,
feel what it's like to do that before you do anything.
yeah, that those look really neat.
Yeah, I've never
One of
done one, but
my
it looks cool.
one of my kids went to do that. Actually, I don't know if she went. Her swim team, it was the before the before the seniors left. They did like a thing for all the seniors on the swim team and went to an indoor skydiving place. And I'm thinking she actually may not have even gone to that. But I was like, "Can I go? Can I go? Please, please." And she's like, "Dad, no. You are embarrassing." So it's like, yeah, but everyone on the team already knows that. And that was not a
Yeah, I
sufficient,
mean, like that wasn't gonna change anyone's mind about it. Their minds have already been made. You know,
oh, yeah. I mean, and they're right. It's not like, well, yeah. So what? I'm embarrassing, but everyone knows that. So who cares?
that's right.
Yep. Who cares?
Yeah,
That's kind of how I live my life. Who cares?
yeah. I'm trying to figure out where I had some pictures that I wanted to share, and I do not remember where I put them. I'll tell you what it is. A couple weeks ago, we had what are they called? TCRT, is that what it was? The Target company that has the little rubber gong type targets. Um, so he sent me a pack of those, but also the new kit that they kind of teased on that program is a bunch of metal brackets that you use to assemble whatever kind of framework you want on to hang these targets from. So you can do like a big rectangle and have your targets hanging in the middle. You can do a post in the middle and have, different target branches coming off. So you make it a tree or a dueling tree. You can do all sorts of stuff with it. So they sent me that kit, and I was going to do it earlier in the week, go set it up, take some pictures, and then it started raining, and then it got cold, and I was like, but I'm cold. I don't want to go outside when it's cold because apparently I'm a wuss. And I'm not going to say it's a complete surprise to me because I have known that I have had an aversion to cold for a few decades, but I don't think I really understood how deep that aversion was until I was like, no, but it's like 40 degrees out. I'm not going out there.
It was
So,
25 here last night.
oh, yeah, it's about what it was here last night, but in the day, it was a little
Yeah.
bit warmer.
So did you ever get like hypothermia or any kind of like were you exposed to like really bad traumatic cold weather before? Because if you have, it's one of those things where you'll always be susceptible to that.
I've heard that, and I don't think that I really have.
Okay. So it's all mental at this point.
I just don't like being cold.
Yeah. No, I hate
It
it.
I mean, it's as simple as that. Ah, dang it. I was gonna pull these off the phone. I'm gonna show them to you this way. Here's the targets. There's a
Okay.
bag with a bunch of targets in it. There's white ones and black ones, and they're alternating. And then I don't think I'm gonna be able to get these big enough that we can really make them out. But oh, come on, phone, work with me. But there, anyhow, it's a metal bracket. You can go on their website, the TCRT website, and look at that. And it looks like a really cool system. And maybe I'll get that put together tomorrow. Let's see. Speaking of cold, Clover is absolutely correct. I am wearing a heated vest from Amazon Vine. One of probably, I don't know that I personally have a half a dozen heated vests from Amazon Vine, but I don't know that I don't either. I do have lots of heated clothing because
You don't
this
like to be
stuff is
cold.
amazing. And I don't like being cold. So I have a little USB battery pack here, and the vest has a plug that comes out of it that I can plug this in. And oh my goodness, this one is nice. It works really well. But I got a new one off of Amazon Vine here recently. So that's red, that's the hottest, and white's the medium temp, and then blue's
Okay, so
the
there are
low.
different heat settings. I
Oh,
was going to ask you
it's
that.
amazing. It is absolutely amazing. It's got this one has got, I think, 5 pads in the back, like 2 low, 2 up high, and 1 on the back of the neck.
Oh, nice.
And then it's got a couple pads kind of just where here, but a little bit lower, kind of on the abdomen area. And it is absolutely amazing and wonderful. And it's one of the greatest inventions ever. I can't say that strongly enough. So if you don't have a heated vest yet, what's wrong with you? Like, get one. They are the bomb easily. Actually, I'm going to get a link here to. I got to open a different browser for that. I'm going to get a link to the one that just came in a couple weeks ago. It has like 3 independent heat zones that you can set each one on a different setting, and it's just so
So, like,
absolutely.
what are heated vests like? How much do they run typically for people that are interested?
The one I'm going to show here. Let's see, heated. Open. So I need to share that screen again, and we shall see. And let me get that. Oh, that's not the banner. It's a comment. That's why I couldn't get rid of it. Okay, so the heated vest. Look at this thing. It doesn't actually look like that, right? Like it's not so red hot that it'll actually burn you, but it gets pretty darn warm. But this one has got the back. Let's see, the back low. So the 3 lower ones are one zone. The 3 upper ones, the 2 shoulders and then the neck, are this another zone. And then the front has the 2 across the abdomen. And that's where you have 3 different zones here. Each zone you can set at low, medium, or high.
Wow.
Right? This one's like $90. But I'm telling you, if it was $190, it'd still be worth it. It's so friggin' amazing. If you're like me and you don't like being cold, which I
That might be
can't
something I had to
can't
get for the
stand it.
wifey because the island girl does not like it cold.
So she will just tell her, I am giving you this every time you feel that warmth wrapped around you. Just think of me giving you a hug, and she'll be thrilled.
Yeah, that's
Like
not creepy at all, is it?
it'll be amazing because these things are completely amazing.
Do they have them for women, or is it just a unisex type thing?
Well, this one says men's, but I mean we've got a bunch of them here,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you can find ones that are for women as well.
Specifically. Okay. All right.
Oh, Clover's got a lightweight one. Yeah. So like the one I'm wearing now, it's got a little bit of insulation in it, but it's really light, and it's got all the heating elements in it. Way lighter than you would think. Yeah. Yeah, they're not like super bulky. And if you get a good one, like this one has got the battery goes in a pocket, the one that I'm wearing,
Yeah.
which makes it hard to put your hands in the pocket because one of them's got a battery and a cable in it. But the one on the screen here actually has a little pouch on the inside
A
that's
little
big enough
dedicated. Yeah.
you can put all different sizes of battery packs in there.
So, like,
And
when you plug it in and turn it on, like, how long does it take for it to heat up?
it's probably approaching the full heat within a minute.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay. That's pretty.
within 10
Okay.
seconds, you feel some heat.
That's
Like
crazy.
maybe
Okay.
within 5 seconds. It's almost instant that you feel something,
Huh.
but it takes a little bit because it's kind of cumulative. It's using the insulation of the vest.
Yeah.
And I always wear it with another layer over the top because if I'm gonna spend the battery power to generate the heat, I don't want to just let it all get out. I want to hold
Right.
it in, you know? Yeah,
Interesting.
absolutely amazing.
Yoko's
Now,
birthday's coming up, so I might have to look at one of these for her.
the counterpart to the vest is the heated pants. My experience with the heated pants is, I mean, just look at this. Look at the theory that this operates on and why I said this is awesome, and apply that to pants. Like you would expect it to be just as awesome. The pants that I got were heinously bad. They were terrible. They were uncomfortable. They heated too much in the wrong place. And it
Sure.
was like, these suck bad. But I only tried one pair of pants. So there are probably some good pants out there. But
So what
I
you're
have
saying
not
is TJ
had
may be getting a Christmas present. You know.
I've not had a vest that I hated. Here's what I'm going to tell you. If you want to get a vest,
Yeah.
um, the thing that you need to be aware of is, all right, do they show it on here? This part right here. This one actually came with its own battery pack,
Oh,
but
okay.
it runs off a normal USB. As long as you have with a USB A output that'll handle, I can't remember if it's like 2 amps or something, like not one of the old ones, one of the more modern ones that it doesn't have to be like a super high output, you know, like the 9 volt, 5 amps or whatever. I mean,
Right.
it can be just like, I'm pretty sure it's 5 volts, 2 amps. As long as it'll do that, you can run these. And then that means that when you run it dead, you unplug it, plug that one into the charger, take another one out, put it in
Right.
your pocket, and you can keep it running indefinitely. But the first couple heated vests that I got had like the little pin, the little male female pin connector, and it was practically proprietary. Like you run that one dead, and now you're just out of juice.
Yeah.
And I had a bad experience with one of those when I was hunting, and it was super cold. And it was freaking amazing to have that heated vest on. And then the battery went dead. And I was like, oh no, it was terrible, terrible.
How long did it
So
last on that one battery pack?
on low, I've worn this for like 6 or 7 hours
Oh
with it
wow.
on low and had it not be empty. The 10,000 milliamp hour battery pack not be dead yet.
Interesting.
Nice.
And something I haven't tried yet that you know what, I should probably try it pretty soon. I have a computer sitting beside me with that I'm not using, but it's still plugged in. It's got a really big power supply in it. I may get a USB cable that'll plug into that. So I'm taking the 5 volts, couple amps off of that, plug it straight into the vest while I'm sitting here,
Yeah.
and then at my desk, because my office is not very well insulated.
Yeah.
And it's cold up here, really. And unless it's the summer, and then it's hot. So
So are you gonna bring that vest to range day, I guess?
I have taken it.
Have you?
I
Okay.
I just haven't needed to use it. It was cold a couple years ago, and I was
Last year
like,
was
"Why
cold
didn't I
too.
bring my heated vest?" And I don't remember how last year was.
Last year was cold, windy, and rainy. Remember?
Vaguely, they all run together.
Yeah, I hear you.
Most USB ports only half an amp. What? I've been chipped. All right. But anyhow, I didn't know this was going to turn into a heated vest commercial, but I'll tell you what. If you want to click the link that anyone wants to get one and click my affiliate link, that'd be amazing. But I'm telling you, I don't even care. Just get one. I don't care how you get it. If you got to sell something, I'd prefer you don't have to pimp one of your kids out or anything. I mean, that would be bad. But I wouldn't go that far to get a heated vest. But I will say that if you don't like being chilled or getting cold, a heated vest is 100% amazing. Oh, look at that. You're welcome. And yeah, they're worth it. Highly recommended. See, 2 endorsements here from people in different states, different parts of the country, different states of mind, probably too.
Nice.
Saying the heated vest is the shiznit. So there we go. All right. So we have covered recent reviews. Do you have anything coming, Ghost, that you want to talk about?
Gotta work with some Mantis stuff. Just got some Streamlight stuff in yesterday. A couple days ago, got one of the new dry fire mags with the laser, which is really pretty awesome. I'm doing something different. It's gonna freak some people out to the channel. I'm getting me a mare's leg, Henry mare's leg lever action.
Interesting.
So seeing a lever action on the channel will freak some people out, but that's going to be pretty awesome to work with.
Dude, but okay, yes, I agree. But our friend, the Tactical Leprechaun, has been in the chat and he's been reviewing ARs this year.
I know it's
So
like weird. I mean,
clearly,
I've got some 1911s in me now.
our
Like,
world has
holy
already
cow.
been turned upside down. So
I
the shock
know.
value is kind of gone, I hate to say.
Yeah. But no, I'm really, really excited to not only to work with Henry, but to start maybe expanding my horizons a little bit and learning about firearms that I have limited experiences with,
Sure.
and so lever actions are, I've always kind of dug them, but never really got excited about one until I saw the mare's leg, and I
Hmm.
was like, now that's something I could jump into.
Interesting.
Henry mare's leg is a 13-inch, basically a lever action pistol and 357 Magnum. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Well, and I'm curious, what about that? And I just pulled the 22 version up because they're pretty
I
much the
think
same. But
Clover's getting the 22, so we'll be able to maybe kind of do some cool comparisons in between the two of
what
them.
about the micro stock here that was attractive to you?
So it's not the micro stop because you can't shoulder it. I mean, there's no way to shoulder it. It's you're gonna have to shoot it one-handed or kind of out in front of you for the sights. But
Gotcha.
what really to me, it's kind of, I mean, it's a lever action, right? And it's a Henry, so it's fuddish, right?
Mhm.
But it's still kind of like in your mind, like tactical a little bit for someone like me that enjoys AR pistols. The this could be an interesting little truck gun for me. I think it'd be really, really
Yeah.
cool. It's a six. It'll hold 6 rounds. But it's a really cool, just a really that's the one right there. That's what I'm getting right there. It's just a
Wow.
cool looking rifle, or whatever you want to call it. It's just
Right.
really cool looking for me. I think it's just badass looking.
Yeah. Cool. All right. We'll look forward
So
to
that'll
hearing
be
what you say
coming.
about that.
That'll be coming in the next couple 3 weeks probably. So it'll probably be December before I start working on the review and all that, but it'll be here before the end of the
Yeah.
year for sure.
And you said you got 357?
Yeah, 357. So I've already called my gun shop and he's got some 357 and 38 special sitting there for decent prices. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's actually cheaper. They might be a little bit more expensive you can get online, but I don't have to pay outrageous shipping costs for ammo with him, so it's worth it. So he's set aside about 2 or 3 boxes of 38 special, and I think a couple boxes of 357. So that should do fine.
Right. Cool.
I think it's a pretty look. I just think it's a pretty gun.
Yeah. 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 That'll be neat. Which reminds me, I've got a Henry big boy all weather in 45 Colt that I need to get out and do something with here shortly.
Yeah, Clover's got a few
So
of
that's good.
different Henrys coming. Um, I think he's getting the mare's leg in 22 LR, and then he's getting something in 44, and I want to say he's getting something maybe in 243. But he's getting a few of them to do some different hunting things with, and that is obviously
Mhm.
not my gig. So
Yeah.
he'll have several of those to work with.
Gotcha. All right. Oh, look at that. It says 10. So we have hit our hour. I was not paying attention. We didn't even get the Boo ATF on the screen. So I do apologize. That is the most important part of the show. So it's there. We're going to skip Guitarmageddon. I apologize for that too. I know that's why everyone is here, but I mismanaged the time and got a little chatty, and we missed the time for that. So 22 mag and express lever and single shot 243. Wow, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, we'll look forward to hearing about those. Komar, Ghost, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate you guys. Anything you want to mention before we bug on out of here? No? All right. So everyone have fun. And until next time, we'll see you at the range.